interesting series loss to the Cincinnati Reds. The Yankees' second home series loss of the season. The other one was to the Chicago White Sox in a situation in which they lost both games of a doubleheader. If they had split, they would have won the series. So a bit of a weird circumstance there. This is, definitely, I think, their worst series of the season to date. The record is still amazing, 62-27, but now the Yankees have lost 4 of the last 5. And look, the Yankees could have been swept this series. Sure, could the Yankees have swept themselves? That's also true. But the Yankees, they could have been swept by the Reds. I mean, these were games that all 3 were close. The first game is the one that really, really stings. You knew Game 3 going against Luis Castillo was going to be tough, but Game 1, the Yankees just should have won. Garrett Cole pitched amazing. Cole goes 7 shutout innings, 11 strikeouts, just brilliant performance. And, the offense shut down a bit. That blame needs to go there, but Clay Holmes, who has been just basically automatic this season, completely imploded in the 9th inning, like we haven't seen before. Totally imploded, just lost the strike zone, and the Yankees will, we'll talk about, how they lost, but they did lose that game, and that one hurts. Coming off of the 2 tough losses to Boston, you win that game, and you're back in the flow of things. And they lost that game, and Game 2 was ugly, but the Yankees did come back. But Luis Severino did get hurt in that game, and then Game 3 was a game in which the Yankees kept on coming back. But, they fell short against the Reds. So, it's not – this isn't a situation of, alarm bells or anything. But it just further proves the point. The Yankees need to really make improvements by the trade deadline on all fronts. You can never have enough pitching, and that goes for starters and bullpen. With Severino now in a situation where, he'll be out for a bit. Luckily, I think he avoided a major injury. I think he'll be back somewhat soon. But I'm sure they'll try to play it safe. And Jamison Tyone has been struggling lately. So just all that combined, you want some starters. And the bullpen depth is being tested. Bullpen depth has not been all that great. So I think that they're going to add a piece to the pen. And as I've said all along, I think that, you need another outfielder. You just do. Matt Carpenter's an amazing hitter, and I really want him in the lineup, but he just, he can't play outfield. It's not his fault. He's an infielder. Certainly not an outfielder. So, and Aaron Hicks also got hurt in Game 1. I think he'll be fine for the Red Sox series. It feels like, he hasn't gone on the IL or anything, so I think he'll be okay. But this was not a great series. No matter how you look at this. Yankees still have a very, very healthy lead now over Tampa. So interestingly enough, the Red Sox got swept in a 4-game set against the Tampa Bay Rays. So now the Rays, interestingly enough, sit at 49-40. So they are kind of the ones that now have that lead for the number 1 spot. But I guess in terms of the 49-40, the Yankees are 13 games up on the loss side. But the Astros are coming. In terms of that 1 spot, the Astros are now 3 back on the loss side. So that gap is completely closed. And the big thing there is just having the home field advantage. Whether you finish first or second, like I've said, I think in some ways it's advantageous to finish second with the way the format works. But the most important thing there is having that home field versus the Astros. And now that's, certainly a tight race too. So, not great. Let's jump right into it. And we'll talk about, some roster, some injuries and some players coming back from injury, things like that. Actually, first thing I'll mention is actually that Tyler Wade has been brought back to the organization. The Angels, it wasn't really working out there. So now Tyler Wade, he's in Scranton. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him up at some point. But Tyler Wade back in the organization. He's versatile. He's got speed. But, with Marlon Gonzalez on the roster, Tyler Wade in some ways to me feels redundant. But you feel like he'll probably make his way back up. I wouldn't be surprised, certainly. But anyway, Reds, Yankees. And what's disappointing is in game one, Matt Carpenter not in the lineup. Matt Carpenter and Aaron Judge isn't either. And Aaron Judge, he's definitely dealing with something, but I don't know. But Aaron Judge wasn't in the lineup either. And Aaron Judge has been struggling lately. He did homer in game 3 of this series, but Judge has been struggling. But it's disappointing that versus righty, Matt Carpenter's got to be in the lineup. He had a great series against the Red Sox. And so, look, it's going to be tough for him currently to crack the lineup. It just is, unfortunately. Luckily, he's still effective even when he doesn't play. But so as far as rest roulette, it falls on Judge and Carpenter. But Garrett Cole was brilliant. 7 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts. You get that from Cole a lot. I mean, look, I'm disappointed in what he's done, specifically at Fenway Park. But Cole, it's been a good season. There's sky-high expectations for Garrett Cole. It's been a good season, and the All-Star nod is deserving. If he didn't get it, I wouldn't be up in arms. If he didn't make it, that'd be okay. But him making it, you're not going to bat an eye at that. And Cole, really shows that, he can be very dominant. But there's some inconsistencies. Anyway, Cole, unbelievable. Graham Ashcraft was the starter for the Reds, and he didn't do all that well. But the really disappointing part was that the Yankees did not touch the Reds' bullpen really until I'd say the last game of the series. The first 2 games, the Reds' bullpen really shut the Yankees down, and this is a league-worst pen. But the Yankees get on the board early. First inning, LeMahieu single, Torres double, and a 2-run single by Anthony Rizzo. So right there, you're thinking, all right, great. Cole on the mound, 2 quick runs. But the offense would stall a bit. They would score 1 more run in the 3rd. And that would be a couple of walks, and Stanton flies out, and so Gleyber moves to 3rd. 1st and 3rd, and Donaldson hits the ball to center field where it should have been a sac fly, but Senzel slips. And so it's actually an RBI single for Donaldson. It would have gotten the run in, but makes it 3-0. And then, it's funny, kind of the things turn where Aaron Hicks fouls the ball off his shin, and Marlon Gonzalez pinch hits for him. Really from there, the game slipped away. Not slipped away, but the Yankees offense completely shut down. When you think about it, the Hicks injury kind of coincides where the game kind of turns offensively. But Cole, 7 great innings, and then Michael King is fantastic. That's a true all-star snub. Michael King is a definite all-star. The stats back it up. With Clay Holmes' recent struggles, look, Michael King, it's not fair because Holmes' numbers are still insane, but Michael King, you could say, has just been the most consistent Yankee pitcher this whole season. He's just been really good. There was a little bit of a stretch where he struggled, but he's just been so good. But King with a really complete, dominant 8th inning. Bottom of the 8th is where... No, I guess it was the bottom of the 7th. Right, bottom of the 7th is where Gleyber Torres stupidly tries to stretch a double into a triple with no outs. It wasn't the right thing to do. The hustle was there, I suppose, but it just wasn't smart. And so what could have been an extra run doesn't happen. The 9th inning, it all comes undone. This loss still stings. It was such an easy win. And Clay Holmes the great thing with him as a Yankee is the control has been there. With Pittsburgh, it was a problem. With Pittsburgh, that was one of the big things with Clay Holmes, that he just could not harness that control. And it reared its ugly head in this one. Tommy Pham with a leadoff walk. Joey Votto singles. Tyler Stevenson hit by pitch. And so, okay, it's bases loaded. You got some problems. And then Tyler Naquin hits a hard smash that, unfortunately, Kiner Falefa, it was a tough play. And look, Kiner Falefa's fielding, to me, it leaves a lot to be desired. It was a tough play. I wish he could have made it, but he didn't. And it's an RBI single for Naquin, makes it 3-1. And at this point, you honestly could have made the argument to take him out right then and there, but they let him go 1 more batter, and he hits Kyle Farmer. So that's 2 hit-by pitches. He was all over the place, and so now it's 3-2, and Wandy Peralta has to come in and kind of pull a Houdini act. And the fucked up thing is that he almost did. Donovan Solano hits a ground out. Peralta gets the out at home, and Trevino on the exchange couldn't control it. This was very reminiscent to the Donaldson play a few nights before at Boston, where Trevino, I don't know how it happened. I think that they pulled the double play. You get the guy at home, and if Trevino's able to just get that cleanly, he, I think, likely gets Solano out at first, but it doesn't happen. So now you're in a situation where it is bases loaded, 1 out. And so now Nick Senzel, it's a ground ball to Josh Donaldson. And this was another interesting play. Donaldson gets the out at home. And it was the smart move, and it was the right move. Well, maybe right's the wrong word, but it was, I totally get it. If he tried to go for the 5-4-3 double play, it's possible that that's ball game. Possible. But I get it, because you don't know if you get destroyed at home and you live to fight another day. But unfortunately, Peralta is almost out of this amazing jam. And Jonathan India is up, and it's an 0-2 count. He gets him 0-2 quickly. India fouls off a couple of pitches, and on pitch 5, India is able to dunk in a 2-run single and gives the Reds a 4-3 lead. Just really, really demoralizing. Again, after those Red Sox losses too, it's just a gut punch. And then bottom of the 9th, the Reds bring on Alexis Diaz, Edwin Diaz's brother, and a really bad, and Aaron Judge pinch hits for Joey Gallo. And not a good at bat for Judge. And I know he came in cold, but he swung up all 4. DJ LeMahieu walks, which he's had a habit of doing. LeMahieu, the stats may not be crazy; they're pretty good, but the walks have been very impressive for DJ. Unfortunately, Gleyber, and I fear this might happen, Gleyber Torres grounds into a double play, and that's ball game. So a loss the Yankees should have never had. You blame the offense, and you blame Clay Holmes. Clay Holmes was really bad, and he's entitled to it, but it's a little worrisome the way he was bad. So we go to Game 2. Game 2. The Yankees, it was the comeback kids in this one where the Yankees fall down early, and, luckily, due to some suspect Red defense and some other things, the Yankees win that's really the Reds kind of gave the Yankees this win in some ways. Luis Severino ends up, he gives up back-to-back home runs in the second inning. The velocity was down. He didn't look right. He takes himself out of the game before the third inning even starts. And Severino is on the IL. It was termed as a low lat strain. He said he had tightness in his right shoulder. So, look, I think he'll be on the shelf I know he wanted to come back after the All-Star break. Look, I think he'll be out for a little bit, and it might be for the best anyway. Severino, I know they wanted to control the innings. Severino has not pitched in years. Let's be honest. Severino, the last time that he really was a regular was 2018, honestly. I know that he pitched in the playoffs in 2019, but that year, if I remember correctly, was a totally lost year as well. So really, 2018 was the last legit year for Sevy. So it's a bit of a concern, but I think that they kind of got out of it okay. Rest roulette-wise here, Matt Carpenter versus the lefty, it makes sense why he didn't play. And then, of course, Aaron Hicks was injured. So this was a pretty simple one. But Mike Minor on the mound for the Reds, who did not pitch all that well, but, first inning, Reds get on the board. It's an RBI granted for Joey Votto. And so the Reds take a 1-0 lead. And then in the second is when things implode. Kyle Farmer, Mike Moustakas, Stuart Fairchild, back-to-back-to-back. So this is not a murderer's row. This is 7, 8, 9 in the Reds lineup. Something was wrong with Severino. And so it's 4-0. He takes himself out of the game in the third. And in the bottom of the third, the Yankees have a really big inning. And the key play was first and third, 1 out, and Rizzo hits what looked like a tailor-made double play, and it goes under Jonathan India's glove. So a run scores, makes it 4-1. And then Gleyber, with 2 outs, gets an RBI single, makes it 4-2. A Donaldson walk, and a very big bases-loaded, bases-clearing double for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa gives the Yankees a 5-4 lead. So it could have really been 4-0, becomes 5-4. JP Sears came on for Severino, did a good job for the most part, but ran into a little bit of trouble in the 5th. And in the 5th, it would be a ground rule double by Joey Votto. I thought Joey Gallo had left. It's a bit of a mystery left for Joey Gallo. I thought he could have played that better, but ultimately it probably would have been a ground rule double either way. And then you get a sac fly by Tyler Stevenson, so it's 6-5 Reds. JP Sears is taking out. Albert Abreu comes on to finish out the 6th. Starts the 7th. Wandy Peralta finishes the 7th. And meanwhile, the Yankee offense is doing nothing. Aroldis Chapman comes on in the 8th and pitches around, a throwing error by Kiner-Falefa. He walked Kyle Farmer, but a scoreless inning for Chapman, which is a step in the right direction. I don't trust him, but step in the right direction, I guess. And then Giancarlo Stanton homers in the eighth. And it was a lucky Yankee Stadium home run for Stanton. It was. Lucky Yankee Stadium home run for Giancarlo Stanton. Ties it up. It's his 23rd of the season at 6. We head to the ninth, and Clay Holmes, it wasn't a pretty-looking inning. A leadoff walk to Fairchild, but he is able to navigate through, gets a strikeout, he gets a ground out, and Holmes, an improvement for the night before, but it still wasn't great. And so the Yankees don't score the bottom of the ninth, we go to the 10th. And Michael King, he's been so good in extra innings, where King just doesn't give up a run. He doesn't, there's a runner at second, and he just shuts it down. And he gave up a leadoff single. First and third, strikeout, double play, boom. So the Yankees are set up for success, and the Reds just handed it to him. A Judge strikeout, again off of Diaz like the night before. Rizzo's intentionally walked, and Stanton, it's an 0-2 count. There's a ball that leads to a wild pitch. And then there's another ball that leads to a wild pitch, and LeMahieu scores. So it's a walk-off wild pitch. DJ gets the winning run. Yankees win 7-6. Ugly, but you'll take it. And so now we go to game 3. I mean, and all these games were close. All of these games. So, it could have been a Red sweep, and I guess it could have been a Yankees. I mean, it really could have been a sweep either way. But in game 3, it was a great pitcher's duel. Luis Castillo, who's in trade rumors, and look, if the Yankees could pull it off, I'd love to bring in Luis Castillo. Very good pitcher. The Yankees would have to give up a lot, and I wouldn't want to give up, top prospects, but you just might have to. But Castillo looked, if that was an audition, he really excelled and looked great. And then Nestor Cortes with a very nice outing. Nestor, who had struggled against the Red Sox and has been kind of struggling lately a little bit. Really, 7 innings, 1 run. It was a really nice outing for Nestor. Russ Roulette fell on Josh Donaldson, who did pinch hit. And of course, Aaron Hicks is still out, with the injury. So the starter for the Reds, like I said, Castillo was amazing. And the Yankees gave up their first run in the 5th. And Castillo had a no-hitter, I think, through 4. Through 5, I guess. So he had a no-hitter through 5 and a third. So in the 5th, Cortes gets into some trouble. A walk to Fairchild, a hit by pitch to India, bases loaded, 1 out, and Brandon Drury hits a fly ball to Matt Carpenter and right. And I don't know what Carpenter was thinking. Like, he didn't really throw it home right away, and if he did, I'm not sure if Nick Senzel tries to go home, or if he does, that's a damn close play at the plate. So Carpenter, again, he's not an outfielder, so I can't kill him, but Cortes was pretty upset, and I understand why. I don't think he meant to show up Carpenter, but it's a sac fly for Drury, and it makes it 1-0. But the Yankees do fight back, and in the 6th, it is a double, a 1-out walk for Judge, and then a double by Rizzo, and then you get an RBI ground out by Giancarlo Stanton. Makes it 1-1. So Cortes ends up going 7 in the 8th. Jonathan Loaisiga returns. So in terms of roster moves, J.P. Sears, after pitching a lot the night before, goes down. Severino goes in the IL, and so Loaisiga activated, and Ryan Weber called up. So Jonathan Loaisiga back, and it was interesting they threw him right into the fire. Tie game in the 8th inning, and I understand you were down Holmes, you were down King, you were down Peralta, so I kind of get it. But it was a bit of a struggle, a little bit of unluckiness, but he didn't really have any swing and miss stuff. But it's okay. Loaisiga is a bit of a ground ball pitcher, but eventually you get an RBI single by Votto, and what really hurt is a 2-out, 2-run single by Kyle Farmer, makes it 4-1. But give the Yankees credit. They fought, and Albert Abreu finishes the 8th. They fought back on the 8th. Jeff Hoffman comes in for Castillo. Aaron Judge homers, his 31st of the year. And then with 2 outs, you get a Carpenter walk and then a Gleyber Torres game-tying 2-run homer, his 14th of the year. And so Gleyber ties it up, and we're at 4-4. And then the Yankees, it's too bad, is DJ strikes out in a big spot. Eventually Donaldson pinch hits. He gets hit by a pitch, actually. Hopefully he's okay. I think he will be. Connor left a pinch ran for him, but it made sense because Isaiah was going to come into the game anyway for Marlon Gonzalez. But DJ, bases loaded spot versus I believe it was Hunter Strickland, and LeMahieu strikes out. So there was a chance right there for the Yankees to take the lead. They don't. Top of the 9th, Albert Abreu. It was ugly, but Abreu pitched a scoreless 9th. So Abreu's been getting it done. Again, I like Albert Abreu. Bottom of the 9th. Yankees go down 1-2-3. A combination of Strickland and San Martin. the lefty. And so now we go to the top of the 10th, and Lucas Licky comes on. And Lucas Licky, for me, he does well in sort of mop-up situations, but in high-leverage spots, the guy is just not good. Like, he really does well when, the stakes are low, but when everything's on the line, he messes up. And so for me, if Lucas Licky doesn't finish the season on the Yankees, I'm fine with that. I just am. Look, he's not a bad pitcher. I think he would be picked up for sure. In fact, if someone would want him, he's a lefty. But yeah, I'm kind of good on Lucas Licky. So 10th inning, you get a one-out double by a one-out RBI double by Joey Votto, then an RBI double by Tyler Stevenson, and then with 2 outs, which really ended up costing them. Licky couldn't stop the bleeding. It's an RBI single by Donovan Solano, so it's 7-4. But the Yankees would fight back, and Matt Carpenter off the lefty hits a 2-run homer. Carpenter's home run binge craziness continues, and that's his 11th homer, makes it 7-6. And then you get a 1-out walk by Joey Gallo, which that's as good as you're going to get. And then they bring on the righty Moretta. Trevino grounds out, and so the Yankees, are trying to put together a 2-out rally. Connor Falefa does keep it alive with a single up the middle. But then DJ LeMahieu, not his fault this time. The at-bat before it was, but this at-bat, a real hard line smash to center right to Nick Senzel, and the Reds win 7-6. So another hard loss. I mean, this one sucked more so because the first game happened the way it did. If you won that first game, I feel like this loss would have, I would have not felt great about it because I would have really wanted the sweep versus the Reds, but just to lose the series against the Reds, come on. Like, I don't want to come off, I don't want it to be like, like I said, sky is falling and everything, but the Yankees have struggled a bit lately. They've lost 4 out of the last 5. They're human. It's okay. I mean, it's understandable, but 62-27, and now a 3-game set against actually a mad Red Sox team that got swept in 4 against the Rays. But the Yankees should be mad themselves. So, this should be interesting. Montgomery versus Evaldi. Pivetta-Tyone, which is a rematch of Sunday Night Baseball. And then Sale Cole. So Sale Cole should be pretty fun, just in terms of names. That should be a fun one on Sunday. So, look, I'm hoping the Yankees, I want them to sweep. I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't think, I'd love for a sweep, but I don't think it will happen. So, give me 2 out of 3 and get into the All-Star break. So, a big Red Sox series before the Yankees have an All-Star break, and then you have an even bigger doubleheader against the Astros.